at AJ, we only hire people through a group interview process. And in this Whiteboard Wednesday, Emma and I are going to tell you exactly how we do what we do. Hi, I'm Sam from AJ Mastermind in very rainy Windermere, and this is Emma.
Hello, I'm Emma. I am Client Exec for AJ Mastermind,
aka Client Happiness Officer. And if you haven't already watched the previous Whiteboard Wednesday, where we talk about exactly what an Emma does and how we use a system called MDG to hire and to retain and to train in our agency, then go back and have a look at that. But today I want to talk about group interviews, because we really like group interviews.
We do.
And actually, if we deviate from group interviews, although you were not hired through a group interview, it usually is a mistake. Mac was hired through, he's behind camera, he was hired through a group interview, so was Liam, and so were several other of our fantastic team members. So what are some of the reasons why a group interview works?
So they work really well because you can then get a feel for everybody in the room. It's a good way to compare people and to see how they interact with other people because we don't tell them that they're going into a group interview. So to see how
that's test one. Yeah. They come in and then it's like, oh.
So it's good to see how they feel about that and how they interact with potentially competition actually.
Yeah, how they interact with somebody who they potentially think is competition and how they hold themselves while they're doing that. And are they collaborative, or are they kind of on their own? Are they competitive, or are they, more want to be part of the team? And so we're actually having group interviews this evening as we record this. And Emma is usually here on group interview day because Emma is a client executive and therefore she gets FOMO if she doesn't, if she's not able to come along. So she very kindly gives up her time. She sits at the back of the room to watch what people are doing. What are you observing?
So I'm observing body language, check for eye rolling, check for paying attention, just little bits.
Shoes, you look at shoes.
Oh, and their appearance.
And exactly what they're wearing. And also you'll notice things that I might not notice, like you were out to see somebody, that whether somebody had arrived or not, and they were actually stood in the car park late. Now, I wouldn't have known that you'd had that interaction with him had you not been there, because he just came in late. And I don't think actually you even apologised, did he?
No, we did not.
No. And it's also how they treat me as their potential future boss, and Emma as what? What are they going to treat Emma as? Are they going to treat her the same as they treat me, or are they going to treat her a little bit differently? So she tends to see a different side of the candidates than I see, which is a good thing. Okay, so ingredients of great group interviews, and this is something that Emma and I work very hard to make sure that they're a pleasurable experience for us as well as for the candidates as well, and we get the best possible out of them all. So number one, Emma, I want you to put this. Go, Emma.
You need some great candidates.
Which is a bit of a challenge at the moment, it's fair to say.
And I also think as well, was saying you've got 12 people in a room, it takes an hour and a half to do one group interview, but that saved you 11 hours interviewing everybody individually.
That's very true. And also sometimes you just know as soon as that person comes in the room that it's going to be a no matter what. And you've got to make a snap judgment sometimes.
Yeah. So you've not wasted your time there, which is great.
So you need great candidates. So what we tend to do is, we used to filter a lot until we'd end up with nobody left. Now we don't filter as much, and we just get everybody along together, and it makes the good candidates stand out even more when you've got a room full of, sometimes mediocre candidates as well. If they can't come to the group interview, and bear in mind they don't know it's a group interview, what do we do at that point?
So we then ask them to send a video of themselves, 2-3 minutes long.
Yeah.
Just an introduction, a bit about them, so we can get a feel for how they present themselves, how they speak, what they talk about, get a feel for their personality through that.
And also, so I did have a lady a few months ago now, we asked to send in a video, and it really was not a very good video. Her appearance wasn't right, as in what she was wearing wasn't really appropriate for the video. She talked about herself all the time, there's no humility there whatsoever. And she didn't enunciate very clearly, so she wasn't very articulate. Anyway, she sent it to me, and then I rejected her at that point, and she said, well, that's a bit unfair to reject me on an interview. On a video, and I said, let's jump on the phone, and I want to reassure you about how I've made my decision and give you some feedback, but also to ask you what you mean. Why wouldn't I? And she said, well, I feel like I'm being judged on a video. And I said, yeah, that's the point. I'm judging you. And she said, well, I was put under pressure. And I said, That's funny. I wonder if our client executives are ever put under pressure.
All the time.
Only all the time. So actually, I'm looking at you in a pressurised situation. And she said, and I didn't have the right clothes available to me. Okay, so what if the same thing would happen in the job? Would you actually go and visit a client in what you were wearing because it wasn't appropriate? So all these things are there to test them in a very specific way. People don't like being judged in that way. It doesn't mean to say we shouldn't do it. Okay, so we've got a group of people in the room. How many people have got coming tonight?
12-ish.
How many people have given backward in the last 10 minutes?
4.
They are pretty rubbish. They don't even know it's a group interview. They actually just think they're giving backward to an interview. And the number of people who don't come, who just don't turn up.
Let's say 12 saying they're coming, 8, 9 will turn up.
8, I reckon. Even though Emma actually confirms with them at the last possible moment and they still say they're coming and then they just don't show up. And Emma is an eternal optimist and she thinks that all 12 people are coming tonight. But unfortunately, life's going to get in the way. Okay, so we need great candidates. Let's say we have got great candidates. Number 2, environment. What kind of environment do we introduce them to?
So we introduce them to our boardroom, which sounds boring, but it's really not.
Can we do a spin round, Mac, while we're talking? It's not quite set up for interviews, but we can show you. We can literally do a that's it. So we've got a nice big room here. We've normally got flowers on the table. We've got a drinks fridge.
Yeah.
We sit everybody around this big table here, and it's a nice environment.
Yes, it is. We'll have drinks on the table for them, glasses, juice. So we do make it really nice and fun. We've got examples of our brochures so they can see the type of style of home that we sell and how we present those homes, which I think is really fitting to our brand.
When they come in and they see it's a group interview, because you give them little name cards, don't you, as well? Although I've said to you, stop wasting card because in case they don't come, so maybe just do it as they arrive. How do they react when they arrive to the group interview?
And then they relax.
Yes.
And then the people that you can tell, like me, you'd be comfortable in that situation, you'd be comfortable talking to the people, and that's what you're looking for. If they freeze and they're scared all the way through and they don't react or interact with people, they're not going to be right for that role.
So I start off by saying, don't I? Nobody here knew it was a group interview, just in case that people think, oh God, I've missed an email. And we're okay with that. The reason we don't tell you is because if we tell you it's a group interview, you won't come. They don't come anyway, but let's just say there's 12 people who said they're going to come, and if we tell them there's a group interview, we'll be lucky to get 2 people, and then I've got Emma and me in the room, and our evening gone. And then we explain to them the reason why it's a group interview, because some people are really good interviews. Emma is really good at a one-to-one interview. You're actually really good at group interviews as well, I would imagine, I'm guessing. But a one-to-one interview, some people really shine and some people really struggle. And so what we're trying to do is judge them based on how well they do at interviews, which isn't necessarily what we're trying to judge on. So put them in an environment like this, a group environment, when we say, we're not looking for shining stars, we're looking for people who collaborate nicely with each other, who can play nicely at playtime. Yeah. That's what we're looking for. So, and I actually say, some of you are really good at interviews and some of you are really not. And I can feel people start to relax at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone leaves, I think, thinking, you know what, even if perhaps they weren't right for us or we weren't right for them, they've enjoyed themselves at the group interview.
We'd like to think so. Yeah, I think we provide a fun environment. Yeah. Culture. It's really important that they can see, they visually see and they feel our culture as soon as they walk through the door, because our culture is not right for everybody. On the wall over there, can you just do a spin round just on this handle, Mac? Thank you. And you can see that we've got our core values there, which are authentic, creative, energetic, empowering, volunteer and family first. There's also mission vision there as well. And so as soon as they walk through the door, they can see that. And we've just told them, well, Emma's given them the best welcome I've ever had. She's probably actually given them a hug as they came through the door. She's made them feel really, really welcomed, and hopefully put them at their ease and been really friendly with them. And they come in here and they see our core values and they hear what we've just said about it's okay, it's okay if you're not good at interviews, because in a team environment like this, when we're putting team forward and first, then we're doing what we say that we do. We're putting our money where our mouth is. So at that point, they can feel, see and hear our core values. So we're living them. And it's really important that when they leave, they can feel the experience as they leave. They can feel that they were embraced by our core values. That's the best way of putting it, I think. Yeah. Okay, so that's culture. Number 4, agenda. So this is Emma's thing. She loves the agenda. We do all kinds of things, all kinds of games and activities, don't we?
We do.
Give us a few ingredients of what it could be like.
So, one of them is our candidate questionnaire, which is all about MDG, which is in our previous Whiteboard Wednesday.
Yeah. So it really helps us to work out who is what kind of personality. They love that. They really get involved in that, don't they? And we do that together as a group so that they can see what kind of person they are. And people love personality quizzes, they really do.
Yeah. So
we might also do a couple of tasks as well.
And then we have a judge and jury game, which I can't find, so I need to get a new one for tonight. So it's a listening game and it's an instinct game and it's an interactive game as well. So we normally split them into groups.
2 teams, if there are enough, yeah. Don't tell them what the game is.
And it's a game.
It's a fun game where they get to play judge and jury with somebody who's committed a misdemeanour. And there's other games and activities that we play as well. If, full transparency, because I know you won't tell anybody else, only on YouTube after all, God, imagine if our candidates actually saw this. If they come in and we think straight away no to any of them, then we'll keep the interviews short. If there's some people I'm not sure about and we're trying to tease out, then it might go to an hour or more. And if there's somebody that's really good and we're having a really good interactive session, then it can go to an hour and a half. So it all depends on really and how much you want to invest in those people that are in the room at that time. Okay, that's the agenda. So make sure you have an agenda, that you've got lots of different interactive things on that agenda to keep it fun and interesting. Otherwise, if you have it just like an interview but as a group, then people don't respond well to that. And then, number 5.
Only hire the best. Amazing people.
Yes. Where's your bar? You know, is it high enough up that people have to really jump over it? Jenna, in her review with me a couple of weeks ago, said, I love the fact that even though we're short-staffed here, we hang on to get the right people.
Yeah, and it just makes such a difference to your, well, for me, my working environment. If you're not working with the right people, you know it. So.
Yeah, it's hard. There's one of my friend's daughters who is in her early 20s. She's just gone to work for a local agency and she works with 2 older ladies and they've worked there for 25 years. Now, I don't know what the culture is like there, but I'm guessing, and I might be wrong, but just a lot of anecdotal understanding of the situation is that she doesn't feel very welcome. She doesn't feel very kind of included. She has nothing in common with them. You know, they don't spend time together outside work because they're a different generation. They might be a bit cliquey. That is just a complete guess. I don't know. And I think it's really hard for a young person to come into that environment. And as you can see, Emma is young, and we have quite a young team in Mastermind and in Ashdown Jones as well. So she gets to spend lots of time with people who are, roughly speaking, around her age, who might be interested in the same things like dogs and tennis and going out as a team.
Yeah.
When you were in your last job, did you do a lot of things as a team? Did you go out like with your team members?
It's interesting because we went through phases. Because I was there 10 years and I probably had 3 different teams at that point.
Yeah.
And it was only at the very end, And for about 5 years you were working with the wrong people. The wrong people are hired purely to hire. And you can tell because you don't socialise outside work. You don't want to do a team meal because you don't want to see them.
No.
Whereas at the end we had the right people. And yes, we all went for dinner.
I think that's a good point though. If you don't want to go and spend time with them socially, they're probably not a good fit for the team. We have had team members here in the past before your time that didn't want to socialise with us, and that was a bit of a red flag. Of course, we can't make it obligatory. We can't say, well, you've got to come out for this go-karting on Thursday night that we're all going to.
You want to.
But the people who don't want to, that is a bit of a red flag. So what we talk about sometimes in the, usually actually in the interviews, is how much time we all spend together as a team and how much we enjoy that. Because if that person thinks, oh, I'm not sure if I want that, then that person probably isn't right for the company. And that's pretty much all I want to say in this very short introduction to group interviews. So thank you, Emma, for joining me on this. And if they want to know more about how we work Ashdown Jones, what do you think they should do?
Contact us.
And
come to an in-house event here at AJ.
we have some amazing in-house events. Depending on what kind of event it is, we might run a 1 day, 2 day or 3 day. It might be free with a deposit, or we might ask you to pay to be here. And however you come to us and for however long you spend with us, you'll go away absolutely buzzing with new ideas and inspo and having met the team and understanding a bit more about what we're all about. And you'll have been fed as well.
Even better.
In fact, the Brown Horse does the very best chips. I can attest to that. Probably second best chips in the world. I think I might write a book on chips, actually. I feel like I'm a bit of a connoisseur on chips. I should do that. If you think I should write a book on chips, then write to me at chips@ajmastermind.co.uk and tell me, yes, you should write a book about chips.
And if you think you know where the best chips are, you've not been here.
That's it. Let's put them in a ranking. Get yourself here. So all you need to do is go to ajmastermind.co.uk/events, and you'll find all the information you need to be able to book on one of our amazing events. So thank you, Emma, for joining us on this Whiteboard Wednesday, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.